dedicated to all of the people in the world who have pursued their dreams and have made a significant difference in their lives or the lives of others. We hope it encourages all of you to follow your dream and serves as a constant reminder of the wisdom of dreams.
My dream is not only to save lives, but also to change lives through the Bed-Stuy Volunteer Ambulance Corps.
In an area of Brooklyn, New York known as Bedford-Stuyvesant, or Bed-Stuy, AIDS was reaching epidemic proportions. The use of illegal drugs was out of control, and violence in the streets was so severe that Bed-Stuy was often referred to as a war zone. The danger and tension ran so high that paramedics hesitated to come in and assist the sick or wounded. The police response time was extremely slow because they feared for their own safety. People were literally dying in the streets. The situation seemed hopeless. This is a story of a man who turned hopelessness into hope and despair into destiny. His name is Rocky Robinson, and he's living proof of the power of dreams and the importance of realizing them.
Wisdom of dreams. Wisdom of dreams. Martin Luther King III. Wisdom of dreams.
Who is James Rocky Robinson?
Well, at this time, I'm a 61-year-old retired EMS fire captain, president and founder of the Bed-Stuy Volunteer Ambulance Corps, the first minority volunteer ambulance corps in the nation, the 579th point of light organization. I'm a person that cares about his community, about his fellow man, and just somebody who wants to help other people. I like saving lives.
We now know that you've been involved in saving lives, but prior to your deciding to save lives, what was your interest? What were your interests?
Believe it or not, I consider myself one of the first rap street DJs. And I used to have a van with a bunch of kids. I always loved kids. And they used to call me Godfather Rock and the Young Godfathers.
Wow.
And we used to go from park to park, and we do rap. And what happened is, one night I was doing some rap, and it was uncontrolled, and one of the kids got shot. And it hurt me so bad. I tried to save him, couldn't save him, but I stopped my career in rapping. I was also an EMT at the time. It was on my off-duty time. It's when I used to do the rapping in the parks and the beaches and the schools and things like that. But after the kid got shot, it turned me off of the rap scene. And I just got more involved in my life-saving activities. And also, the thing that really got me into the EMT is my niece.
EMT stands for?
Emergency Medical Technician. Is that my niece, over 32 years ago, had gotten struck by a car. And nobody on the scene knew what to do, including me. And everybody was hollering for an ambulance. And I'm watching her life go out of her body and didn't know what to do. And I promised that would never happen to anybody else I know in the community. That's when I started enjoying the EMS.
Your mother played a very significant role in your life. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, my mother was very, very religious. Used to keep us in church every night. And, you know, she was a very strong woman. She raised me and my three sisters by herself. And she was a businesswoman also. And she had a kind heart when it comes to anybody. So I guess I got that from her. Even though I'm not a church-going person, but I'm very spiritual.
Mm-hmm. What was it that motivated you to start the Bed-Stuy Ambulance Corps?
Well, in 1988, it was the height of the crack epidemic. I mean, people was getting shot, they were getting stabbed, they were getting maimed, they were laying out in the street, waiting hours for an ambulance to come. And I was with EMS. I saw this firsthand. And I'm saying, why is it that in Bedford-Stuyvesant, we can't get an ambulance to pick up these people that need it? And then I looked and I observed in other communities, they had ambulances supplementing the city. Like in the Jewish community, they didn't even use the 911 system. They had their own. In other communities, they had volunteer ambulance service. When the city didn't come, they responded. So I said to myself, well, if that's the problem, and I'm in EMT, and I have the experience, I'm going to start a volunteer ambulance corps in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Now that sounds real good, but it wasn't as easy as what it sounded. Because first I had to go and get the politicians to say okay, the hospitals to say okay, the community to say okay, and somebody to give us a build-a-dollar ambulance. And they wasn't having none of it. First of all, the fire department felt that it was a conflict of interest. You're a lieutenant with us. How are you going to go and start an ambulance corps in a 911 area? You're not even supposed to do that. The FCC don't allow it. I said to them, I said, as long as there's somebody in my community laying in the street, bleeding to death, I'm going to respond. You do what you got to do to me. And sure enough, I was ostracized. They shipped me out of my borough. They tried to get me demoted, and they told the people on the job, if you go down to that volunteer ambulance corps, you're going to be in trouble. And the community didn't understand because we was in a raggedy trailer. We didn't have an ambulance. We was running on calls with oxygen tanks strapped to our back. We looked crazy. So nobody wanted to join us. They said, I'm not going to join that crazy man. I was a laughing stock. I was renegade in the fire department and a laughing stock in the community.
So you're telling me you started an ambulance corps and had not one ambulance?
We didn't have one ambulance. Wow. Not only did we not have one ambulance, we didn't have a building. So we moved into a crack house. Wow. Kicked the drug dealers out of the crack house. There was no roof on the top of the building. And when it rained all the way down on us. So it made us even more ridiculous. And the people next door, everybody said, oh, they started up another crack house in the community. They wouldn't give us credit for being an ambulance corps. Because how are you going to be an ambulance corps if you don't have an ambulance? I didn't have any political connections. The police department laughed at us. The community, the guys was rhyming on the street about us. Bed-Stuy, Raggedy, you can save him, but you can't save me. So we were just a big joke, and nobody wanted to help us.
Did you go through a rigorous process of training? How did you actually become a member of the EMS team? Or?
Well, I joined the EMS squad as a per diem driver. Now, I'm driving the EMT to the scene, and then I would actually just stand around and watch them. But then I became more and more involved, and I said, nah, I want to do more than drive. I want to actually get down and save lives. So I went to EMT school. I graduated from EMT school, and then I went to PA school. a physician associate school. I didn't graduate, but it gave me a higher degree of medical training. So when I came back to EMS, they promoted me to lieutenant. And
This was while you were with the fire department?
With the fire department, yes.
Although Rocky has dedicated his life to saving and changing lives, not everyone in the community appreciates his efforts. When Wisdom of Dreams returns.
Although Rocky's volunteer efforts were geared toward the needy and the wounded, the community's trust did not come easily. It was something Rocky knew he had to earn.
Tell me about the neighborhood.
The neighborhood, well, I believe the neighborhood has really, they're very skeptical. They're skeptical because in Bed-Stuy, there's always somebody running a con game. There's always somebody running a scam. So, you know, it's very easy for them to believe the negative rather than the positive. So they can't understand, why would I work at a volunteer ambulance corps for nothing? I gotta be getting something out of it. They just can't believe that it's just volunteer.
Those volunteers are people of Bed-Stuy who often felt their own lives were hopeless until Rocky came along and showed them that no matter where they come from or what people think of them, they have the ability to change their own lives.
A lot of people don't help us because we have reformed drug addicts, reformed alcoholics, welfare mothers, cocaine abusers, and they look, oh man, I ain't going near that place. Ain't nothing but a bunch of druggies there. These are people that's trying to reform their life, that need help.
Yeah, we were homeless in a homeless shelter with 4 kids. We were recovering addicts. We had no jobs, no anything, you know. We heard about the Bed-Stuy Volunteer Ambulance Corps that would give us a free program if we volunteered for them.
But didn't think that they'd give us a chance because of our past records, you know?
Yep.
Change our life.
Yeah.
Because this place has shown me a whole new way, you know, show me that there are still good people out there and that there is, to make a difference. I can make a difference, you know, instead of stealing and robbing and ruining my life, I can do something with my life and help save lives.
Aside from the emergency medical field that we are learning, I'm also finally touching computers, and now I just whiz into the computers.
Got a typewriter at the house.
They gave me a typewriter. You know, they're there for us. You know, and a lot of the times Rocky says, "Call me Dad." You know, and I never had a father.
Like Lisa and Pete, Rocky's dream to help others has touched the lives of many, like volunteer Inez Rodriguez.
Inez came in, and at first she wasn't sure of herself. And she didn't think she could do it. And what happened is Inez wound up being not only a good, experienced EMT, but she became an instructor. And she have taught now hundreds of people in CPR and first aid and certified them.
A lot of people may look at me and not believe where I came from and where I am today. And due to the fact that today I'm an EMT, I'm also a CPR instructor, and I also draw blood, which is also considered a phlebotomist, and an EKG technician. All this due to the fact and thanks to Bed-Stuy, because Bed-Stuy gave me the self-esteem that I lacked for many, many years. I come from a background that many people probably have heard of. You know, I was involved in drugs, gang banging. I hurt a lot of people when I was out there. I'm talking about stealing, robbing, and just hurting people physically and mentally to get what I wanted. Which way it might have been, I would get whatever I wanted. I wanted to be accepted in a lot of ways, be it what it may be. Being a gang member, doing whatever you did. And that classified me as in. Getting the respect. You know, hurting people was my thing. I got to a point where I tried to commit suicide. And in that event of trying to commit suicide, an EMT, I wish I could see that person today, was the one who helped save my life and told me that I could have a chance if I really wanted to. And that inspired me to try and look forward to becoming an EMT. But how do I go by it? I did not know. First of all, the doors closed. Like I said, I had bad credit. I tried to go to schools, and everyone told me you had to pay a fee, you had to pay a tuition, you had to do this for it. I didn't have none of those things. I was empty-handed. When I came here hopeless. I came here bottomless. I did not know where to go, where to turn to, but for help. So please help me, because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to save a life the way mine was saved. And Rocky opened his arms to me and told me, here, you can have that. But when I was here, I didn't feel I had that self-esteem that I could make it. I saw the paramedics, the EMTs, and all the equipment. It was overwhelming. But he said I could do it. He believed in me first before I could believe in myself. He gave me that push. He gave me that hope to say, Inez, you can do it. And I kept on, and I kept on trying. I failed one test, and I wanted to give up. And he told me, no, this is just the beginning. You're going to keep doing this. You're going to keep doing this. I believe in you. I see it in you. And that made me even fight harder. And I kept on, and I kept on, and kept on. And I was one of the first graduates from this course, from the Bed-Stuy Volunteer Corps. I was one of the first graduates, and it felt good. I could not believe it when I saw that card come in the mail. And with great, great pleasure, he gave me my EMT badge.
These two, whenever we get a call that we need to have somebody taught CPR and first aid, these are the two I always reach for, because they know it backwards and forward, and they know how to teach it. This place have trained over 2,000 people in CPR, first aid. We've trained over 1,000 people to become emergency medical technicians. We have over 200 former unemployable people that are now working with the New York City Fire Department. We have 3 kids that started as trauma troopers when they were very young that are now interns in hospitals. We have one gentleman who was our first EMT that we trained. He does our examination at Woodhall Hospital. So we have made the difference one person at a time, one day at a time. This is our man Baptiste. He started with us approximately 9 years ago. We had about a year into existence. This gentleman came, and he wanted to become an EMT. He went through the program. Not only is he an EMT, he now works for the New York City Fire Department. He's a paramedic instructor, okay? That's how far he has risen, and we love him to death. We're proud of him. He comes in and trains us now. He trains the other EMTs. Then we got another gentleman here. Come here, Steve. You really got to know the story about this gentleman here. And his girlfriend, Jennifer. Both of these people, I am not trying to embarrass them, okay? Everybody got to understand the reason why I reach out to a lot of people, because I'm not that fast, okay? Mentally, I don't think I'm the fastest guy in the world. It takes me hours and hours to learn what other people learn in a couple minutes, okay? Steve and Jennifer have the same problem as me, okay? They have to study, and they went through the course 2 or 3 times, and other people was discouraging them. You know, telling them, you're never gonna be an EMT. Steve and Jennifer proved them wrong. They are now New York City certified EMTs and paramedics, you know? See, show your handsome face there. Come on over here, fellas. This gentleman here, he came to us maybe last year, okay? He came to us last year. He was also struggling to see, his cousin was an EMT. And I don't know if he rubbed it in his face or not, but Sung is the kind of guy that he don't want to take second to nobody, okay? So he came through our course, and guess what? Take a look. Emergency medical technician, scored very high, and he's also, he's one of our deputy chiefs. He runs the shift. This gentleman right here, I can't say enough about him. He started as a trauma trooper. You know what happened? He is now a New York State paramedic instructor also, and he wants to be a doctor. I want to open the door. When I open the door for those EMTs and paramedics and future doctors, this is what I'm supposed to be doing as an American citizen, not just as a black man, as an American. To do in my community what other people could do and be a model. And this is my dream. This is my dream, to start volunteer ambulance corps all over the United States where it's needed.
She was a welfare mom headed nowhere until the Bed-Stuy volley saved her life. The medicine they used? Self-respect. You'll meet her when Wisdom of Dreams returns.
Deborah Crawford was a welfare mother with 5 children who had lost all hope until Rocky Robinson gave her a new lease on life. Now a certified emergency technician, she is also the president of the Bed-Stuy Volunteer Ambulance Corps.
What was your life like before Bed-Stuy?
Well, basically, before Bed-Stuy, I wasn't doing anything. I was on public assistance, raising 5 children, and hanging out. That was about it.
Now, what motivated you to get involved with Bed-Stuy?
Well, I knew I wanted to get involved with some type of career. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to take up. I had taken up accounting for a little while, and I got tired of that. I went to a couple of different trade schools, but I don't know, none of them seemed to have caught my interest until I got into the medical field.
Could you share a little bit more about your background and what inspiration you might have for women who come from a similar background?
I think it's because you do it from the heart, that you want to help people. Some people want to help because they've been in a situation themselves and there was no one there to help them. And it makes you also feel good about yourself when you're trying to help someone. There are times you don't need a lot of money. You don't need to give somebody something material to make them feel better. Just letting them know that you care is enough to make them feel better.
Have you ever saved a life?
Oh, yeah, I have. I have. And that's your reward.
And could you tell me about it?
Ooh. There was one guy that had got shot. And the police, when we got on the scene, the police had told us that he was dead already. And one of the girls saw his eye flinch. And she said, he's not dead. And we ran over, we grabbed him up. After we got him on the stretcher, he did go into cardiac arrest.
Wow.
We started CPR immediately, and by the time we got to the hospital again, he was breathing again. He did have a little brain damage, and from the time that the oxygen wasn't getting to his brain, but we had took him to Kings County, which is a trauma center that specializes in things like that. And at one time, it was thought that he would never walk again. And now Anthony lives in California, and he's doing fine. He's back to a normal life again. We hear from him from time to time.
Wow.
You know, and he's doing fantastic.
Tell me, have you ever been on a dangerous call that scared you?
Oh, yeah. I can name a few of them.
Okay.
One of them, we was in the projects, and we had a little girl who had an eye injury from a fight. Her mother had to go upstairs to get the father, which was up on the 13th floor of the projects. It was a summer day, Sunday afternoon. So we had her on the stretcher. I was writing up the paperwork. The doors were open. We were waiting for her mother and father to come back downstairs. All of a sudden, I look down, and I see this man step up into the ambulance, up onto the ledge of the ambulance. My first thought was it was her father. So I continued my paperwork, waiting for the mother, and the next thing I knew, I saw a butt of a gun. He stepped into, almost into the ambulance, and he pulled the door in front of him, and he started shooting. His friend had walked in the front of the ambulance, in the center of the ambulance where the ambulance couldn't move, and he started shooting. They were shooting at some guys on the other side of the street. And in the meantime, all we could do was hit the floor and pray that none of us got shot. We couldn't pull off because the guy was in the front.
Literally in the ambulance, he was shooting?
He was using the door of the ambulance as his shield.
Wow.
So thank God nobody got hurt. And all we could do was wait for the shooting to stop. As soon as the shooting stopped, the guy that was driving pulled off. Wow. We pulled off, the doors were swinging wide open, and we went down to the corner. And we had a police radio. He called for the police. And when they came back, we came back down the block.
Wow.
We've been in a lot of different situations, but God always made a way for us and got us out of there safely.
What does it feel like when you save a life?
I think it's one of the greatest feelings that you could ever feel. It's like a high that you have never had before. Especially when you're doing it from volunteering, that's your reward. $1 million could never replace the way you feel to know that a person is breathing again, their heart is beating again because of the effort that you and your co-workers gave this person.
Sure.
You know, you're giving them their life back, and, you know, it's just a feeling that's undescribable.
Do your friends and family see a change in you since you started at Bed-Stuy?
Oh, definitely.
In what way?
I guess it helped me mature. I'm more independent now.
More outgoing, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. And I see that my family is really proud of me, you know, and it makes me feel better. It makes me feel good about myself, you know, and they stood behind me the whole while that I was struggling, trying to get from public assistant into the working force. So they pushed me a lot, you know, so that helped me also.
Tell me about Rocky Robinson.
Just, it's so many things to say about him, so many good things to say about him. The only thing I would love to see is someone to come and help us get a building on that lot. I would like to thank him for giving me the self-esteem, the courage, the training, the confidence in myself to make something of myself. Not only myself, but everybody that had came through there. You know, he's changed so many lives.
What is the biggest change you see in yourself since you started at Bed-Stuy?
I think it's more that I'm more independent now. I could rely on myself for things that I could never rely on myself for before, that I would have to turn to other people for and hope that they would help me with it. You know, now I could say, well, I could do this myself.
Part of Rocky's dream is a global outreach from the young to the old. Rocky believes that everyone has a part to play in saving lives. In Bed-Stuy, where teenagers so often find a home with gangs and drug dealers, Rocky has rescued many of those kids and has taught them that they too can make a difference by saving lives rather than taking lives.
Them learning first aid and CPR, might be out there banging each other in the head.
My name is Equana Crawford, and I'm a trauma trooper.
Rocky maximizes the strength of his team by making sure that the best trained volunteer EMTs are the ones who teach the young ones. In this case, Lisa Miles teaches the young trauma troopers CPR.
What is the first thing that you're going to do? I arrive on the scene, do my 10-second survey, put on my barriers, look around for chemicals that can't hurt me or my patient. I'm medically trained, I'm here to help you. I tap and shop. Oh, you're okay. Oh, you're all right. One of you go call 911 and come back. Look, listen, and feel. Looking for a chest to rise and for breath to hit my cheek. Not breathing. Give 2 slow breaths. Then I check for a pulse. No pulse. I go up the rib cage, the limb off, then I hit the dive forward process. I do 15 compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 seconds.
What ages are they?
They're 12 to 21 years of age. And I think we put our hand on something. Everybody likes excitement. Kids like excitement. They were gangbanging before because that's exciting. But they found out, I believe, that you get just as much or more of an adrenaline flow when you save somebody's life than when you banging somebody on the head. And you don't have to look over your shoulder or worry about retaliation. So they're literally walking on air after they saved their homeboy's life.
1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, congratulations.
Well, you finally earned your jacket. I'm so proud of you. Okay? Now you're CPR certified, and your reward, your trauma trooper jacket. Put it on and wear it proudly. Now you go out there and you save some lives, huh? All right. Congratulations. We got Dr. Woo Woo here. Dr. Woo Woo, I'm so proud of you. You've earned your jacket. I want you to wear it proudly, and I want you to go out there and save some lives. You hear? Keep up the good work. Turn around and give me a handshake, man, and a hug. All right.
We will find out from the young trauma troopers what it means to give up a part of their lives in order to save the lives of others when Wisdom of Dreams returns.
Antoine, what is a trauma trooper?
Well, trauma troopers are kids from the ages 10 to 18 that come down, volunteer their time to learn medic first aid, CPR, get off the streets and learn how to save lives.
Now, who is responsible for identifying a trauma trooper?
Well, since I'm the chief, I work secondhand with the youth coordinator, which will be Chief Ron Davis, and we go out recruiting the troopers. We get them in, see if they're interested in coming down and volunteering.
Now, how long have you been involved with the trauma troopers?
2 years.
And what did you have to do for orientation?
I had to get an application and let my parents sign it out, and then my father had to write a letter, and then I had to send it to my chief here, Antoine.
Now, how long have you been? Are you still in training, or is training complete?
I'm still in training.
Okay, so you're training to become what?
Complete trauma trooper.
Complete trauma trooper. Yeah. And when that happens, what is a complete trauma trooper?
Complete trauma trooper is when like if you could get ride on a call and save lives, like help people out and stuff like that.
Now, what is the most exciting thing that you've done?
Going for us and
how long have you been a trauma trooper?
3.
3 years? I heard you guys just went on a call. What happened on that particular call?
2 cars. One car had crashed into another car, and it was 2 adults and a baby and 3 other kids in the car, and some of them had got hurt, but the baby didn't.
And what did you all do?
We took them to the hospital.
Charmaine, what have you enjoyed or learned most about the trauma troopers?
Most about being a trauma trooper?
Yes.
Well, basically just going on calls and, you know, saving people's lives. Because I'm a student EMT and I'm going to be taking my state next week to be an EMT. So far, it's just really good for me. I enjoy doing this. This is something that I wanted to do since I was small.
Wow. How long have you been a trauma trooper?
For a year now. Well, I enjoy being around everyone down here at Bed-Stuy, and being a trauma trooper is really, it's fun. It's fun, you know, you learn interesting things and you get to help a lot of people. Even if you just started, you know, you could go to class and go along and become what you want to become, you know. So it's just fun. Anyone can do it. It's up to you.
Brian, how long have you been a trauma trooper?
I've been a trauma trooper for about 2 years now.
What is there one thing that you enjoy most about being a member of the troop?
Well, yeah, I enjoy saving people's lives. That's about it.
How do you feel about Rocky Robinson, what he's doing?
I think of Rocky as a leader. He's a leader. He showed us how to take charge in what we want to do with our lives.
Why did you decide to join the trauma troopers?
Because I've seen them doing a good job. I've been around here mostly all my life, and I've seen them do a good job going on calls, saving people's lives. So I wanted to become a part of that.
Antoine, I understand you just took an exam. Can you tell us about it?
The exam I took was for certified first responder. It's the step just under EMT.
How did you do?
I got a 94 in it, which was the highest in the state. But
wow,
really nice.
Congratulations. How do you feel about what your father does?
My father, he got out here, gave a lot of people jobs, careers, and, you know, he's just doing what somebody that really cares about the community would do for their community.
Why is it important to help people?
It's important to help people because we have a lot of people out here dying every day, and we don't want that to happen in Bed-Stuy. We want Bed-Stuy to be a good community, not a bad community.
What are the backpacks that you seem to have on, and what kind of material is in one of those kits?
Well, first we got our blood pressure kit. We want to take people's blood pressures. Inside the small pouch, we may have things like gloves, occlusive dressings, which are airtight seals. That's about it.
Antoine, what does Rocky Robinson mean to the community, and then most especially, what does he mean to you as your father?
As my father, down here, he's just a CEO. He's my boss. He trains me as well as I train the other troopers. But to the community, although they act like he don't mean anything and they don't need him, I know it in my heart and for a fact that they need him, because if it wasn't for him, a lot of people would be shot and dead. A lot of people would still be on welfare. They have no careers for FDNY. He trained the city, a lot of the lieutenants and chiefs for the city. And with the city, their response time would be 30 minutes to an hour, probably even worse if he didn't put these ambulances on the street and get people out there, put them in uniforms, train them to become EMTs, train them to become paramedics, train them to become doctors. This community just needs to wake up and recognize who's their helper and who's trying to feed them.
Antoine, I'm told that the funding for this ambulatory care is sometimes difficult to raise. What do you think would happen if this program had to stop?
Well, if this program was to shut down, if there was no more Bed-Stuy, I feel back in 1988, it'll go right back the same. People will still be on the street dying. People go back on welfare. Their careers will, a lot of people's careers will be lost. The response time will go back the same. And it really will be a nasty, ugly sight. It won't be pretty.
I want to encourage you to continue to pursue your dreams, because what you're doing will manifest itself in a dream come true for you, so that you can continue to help others.
Thank you, Martin.
What is your wish for the people of Bedford-Stuyvesant?
My wish is they put a building on that corner with a training academy for the kids, 2 or 3 decent ambulances, so the community could be served properly. I want to use that as an entranceway, not just into the medical field, but into the job market. Like one of our students, former welfare recipients, Deborah Crawford. She used that as an entranceway. Now she got 10 years with the fire department. She broke the cycle. A lot of people could break the cycle if we give them an alternative, an entranceway. A lot of people stand on the corner and drink wine because they got nothing else to do. A lot of people do drugs, and they can't think of what to do with their time. So they do take the easy way out. I want to give them an alternative to their lifestyle. You know, that's what I want for the people in Bed-Stuy. If I don't do anything else, I want them to have an alternative to what they're doing.
How do you actually finance? For example, it costs money to transport someone. How's the fuel paid for? How are the supplies acquired? How is the oxygen for the oxygen machines acquired?
Every month, I keep saying this, we're on the verge of closing. Our bank account is like, right now, below $1,000. Somehow, some way, we get money from here. We sell frankfurters, chicken sandwiches, lemonade, just to keep going. And half the time, we don't even get support for that. But it's very, very hard, very difficult. And the last course of action is this card I got in my pocket, my debit card, which keeps me broke. Bottom line is, I refuse to let this place close.
It sounds as if you've given the last 13 years of your life to the community to make the community better in terms of the health needs, but the community doesn't seem to be giving back. You don't get a lot of support from elected officials. You don't get enough support from churches. You don't get enough support from the community. Why do you continue every day to do what you do?
You know why?
And do you ever feel like giving up?
A lot of times when I'm sitting in that office by myself, no money coming in, the bills collectors calling, the people not volunteers, I get depressed. But then I pray. I really do. I pray, and I thank God for keeping me here. Because as far as I'm concerned, I was supposed to leave here last year when my kidney stopped. So he's keeping me here for a reason. And I believe the reason is to keep doing what I'm doing. And I believe that if you knock on enough doors, enough time, sooner or later, somebody's gonna say, come on in. And this is what I'm waiting for. I know it's gonna happen. I just hope I'm still around to see it. But I know it's a foregone conclusion. It's gonna happen. Sooner or later, there's gonna be a building there. There's gonna be state-of-the-art ambulances. We're gonna have communications. We're gonna have a training center, you know, and then I could relax, you know, and maybe the man will say, well done, my good and faithful servant.
I want to thank you for spending this time with us today, and most especially for the tremendous work that you're doing in this community of Bedford-Stuyvesant. Thank you. Due to the unselfish efforts of Rocky Robinson and the Bed-Stuy Volunteer Ambulance Corps, the community of Bedford-Stuyvesant is a better place today. I would like to thank the Bed-Stuy Volleys, the Trauma Troopers, and Rocky Robinson.
I'd like to thank you for coming, and I'd like one request. Since I couldn't hug your father, could I hug you?
Absolutely. All right. Bless you. A man whose life clarifies the difference between celebrity and hero. Rocky Robinson is not only a hero, but a living example of how one person's dream can change the lives of many. I urge you to follow his lead and take action in your own community and make a difference. I'm Martin Luther King III. Join me next time on Wisdom of Dreams.
For more information, please contact Bedford-Stuyvesant Volunteer Ambulance Corps, 727 Green Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11221, or telephone them at 718-453-4617. This program is dedicated to all of the people in the world who have pursued their dreams and have made a significant difference in their lives or the lives of others. We hope it encourages all of you to follow your dream and serves as a constant reminder of the wisdom of dreams.
My name is David Wallace, and I know how difficult it is to get out of the gang because I did it.
It takes wisdom to change.
I dreamed that I could use my personal experiences as a gang member to prevent other young people from joining gangs.
It takes courage to dream.
My program is called STEPS: Supervision, Training, Education, Parenting, and Services. Each one teach one, each one reach one. Leadership by example.
I'm Martin Luther King III, and this is Wisdom of Dreams.
Wisdom of Dreams. Wisdom of Dreams. Martin Luther King III. Wisdom of Dreams.
Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City. Behind the glamorous resorts, the flashing lights, and the famous headliners lies a community plagued with a serious gang problem. As you're about to see, David Wallace is no stranger to the tragedies of the gang lifestyle. In fact, he had the wisdom to dream that he could use his own experience as a gang member to prevent others from traveling down a road in life that often leads to a dead end.
The officers would conduct the pat-downs. For the females, the female officers would do the pat-downs on you. The male officers would do the pat-down on you.
All right, after we do the pat down, what I want you to do is just give your first name only and also tell them quickly your reason for being here.
I got into a gang trying to be like my cousin. One night we were at the theater and we saw some rival gang members. They started chasing us. I made it to my car, but they didn't stop there. They continued to chase us in their car as well. They started shooting at us, and the bullets missed us just by a few inches. I realized then that my life could have been taken. I was very scared. I went home, talked to my mother, told her about it. She was really, really hurt. She told me she didn't raise me to die young. I realized then, by looking at her tears, that I was not only hurting her, but myself, and I needed to make a change now. So I got out of the gang. But I also realized that I needed to take my experiences and use them to help other young people. And today, I realize it's very important and necessary for us to get involved because young people are getting younger and younger, and they're not only committing crimes of violence, but they're joining gangs at a young age.
My name is Dustin, I'm 11 years old, and I'm here for burglary.
My name is Tasha, I'm 14, I'm here for curfew and possession of alcohol.
My name is Nigel, I'm 14, I'm here possessed with a stolen vehicle.
My name is Oxy, I'm 14 years old, I was in the van, I was to do a drive-by with some guns.
My name is Ray, I'm here because of possession of an explosive. I'm 12 years old, and that's all.
My name is Michael, I'm 12 years old, and I'm here for battery.
My name is Luis, I'm 10 years old, and I'm here for burglary.
My name is Amber, and I'm 12, and I'm here for malicious destruction of property.